Hi guys, nice to see you. Today we are going to talk about reducing fractions, which is not something we've done before, but we have done all of the parts that lead up to reducing fractions. So this should not be a problem if you just follow along. So this has to do with our Pharoah mystery. We're looking at reducing fractions, clue number 1. Now, some of these clues I've already done for you because they were a little bit too tricky, and I thought maybe you could concentrate on the ones that made more sense to do. So in order to do that, I have assigned you homework that goes along with clue number 1. So that's going to help you figure out how to reduce these fractions. So if we go ahead and go to the homework to do before clue number 1, we're going to look here. So the first one is 4/8. Now, I have given you these. What we're looking at is looking at the factors for 4 and the factors of 8. If you guys remember, we have done this before. So we did the factors for the numerator, the factors for the denominator, then we circled the one they had in common in order to give us equivalent fractions. So we're doing something very similar. I'm going to remind you how to do that on a multiplication chart real quick, and it will not be a problem. Okay, so take a look here. We're looking at 4 and we're looking at 8. We're looking at all the factors that make 4. Remember that factors are something like what times what equals 4. 4 is pretty easy because it's a small number, but we're going to look on the multiplication chart anyway. So remember, we're looking in this area to find out which factors equal 4. So I see a 4 right here. And look, it says 2 and 2 make 4. But remember, the easiest two factors are always 1 and the number. So let's go back. And for this one, you can always do 1. 1 is the first one, right? 1 is the first factor, and 4 is the last factor because you want the smallest at the beginning and then the biggest. And then we know that 2 times 2 equals 4. So 1, 2, and 4 are the factors of 4. Now, let's start with 8. Remember, 1 is always a factor, even for prime numbers. 1 is a factor and 8 is a factor. But now we need to figure out what are the other two numbers that can make 8. Maybe you know already, and that's great. But otherwise, you can always check your multiplication chart. So, let's take a look. If we're looking for 8, oh, look. 2 and 4 multiply to get 8. Now remember, you want the smaller number first, so 2 and 4. It doesn't matter. 4 times 2 is the same as 2 times 4. So let's go back here and see if I can remember to do my pen. So 1, 2, 4, and 8 are the factors of 8. Now, let's take a look. We have 1, 2, and 4 for 4, and we have 1, 2, 4, and 8 for 8. Which of those numbers is the greatest common factor? That means the biggest number that they have in common. They both have 1, they both have 2, but they also both have 4. So 4 is the greatest common factor. So that's the number that we're going to use on the top and the bottom to simplify our fraction. So we're going to put 4, whatever you do to the top, you got to do to the bottom. So now 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2, right? So 1/2 is the same as 4/8, but we knew that, right? 1/2 is the same as 4/8, but it has the smaller numbers on the top and the bottom. So if we're looking at clue number 1, I know that they did this one for you, but I just wanted to show you how they did it. The next one we'll do together real quick too. So we've got 3 and 12. Now, if there's only 2 numbers or 2 lines here for the factors, that means it's a prime number. So it's only 1 and the number are the factors. So 1 and 3 are the factors for 3. Now let's look at 12. 12, remember, you always start with 1 and the number. So 1 goes here and 12 goes here. Now I know I'm not going to go back and look on my multiplication chart because I do have my math facts, but you can always go back. So start at 1, and then if you have an even number, you go to 2. So 2 times what is 12? 2 times 6 is 12. I also know that 12 is divisible by 3. I know 3 times 4 is also 12. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 are my factors of 12. Now, if I were you, I would look for numbers that have the same. So you don't have to do the work twice. So you see how this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Those are the factors of 12. The same factors down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay? That makes it a little bit easier. So back up here, we're looking for the biggest number that they both have in common, the greatest common factor. So they have 1 in common, and then 3 and 2, that doesn't make sense, but 3 and 3, this is the greatest common factor is 3. So that is the number that we're going to use to divide. Okay, and whatever you do to the top, you must do the bottom. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 3/12 is the same as 1/4. We have simplified that fraction. So now you guys know how to do this. If you complete this homework and bring it when we have class where we review Clue 1, then you'll have all of the numbers and all of the letters ready for us to go. So I hope this was helpful. Please send me an email if you need more help.